R&B. R&B music. I still just don't know why R&B is not one of the top genres in the world, man. They got rid of R&B music? It's not on the radio, man. I still believe, man, if R&B was popping, there'd be less killings. Everybody probably be making love and making babies. The world would be a much better place. But 1997 R&B was great. Who was on top in 97 with R&B music? Singers like Joe. Joe had the album All That I Am with the songs Love Scene and All the Things, which was a classic. Usher was out. He released the album My Way. Had the songs Nice and Slow, You Make Me Wanna, was all over the radio. The group Next was out, had the song Butter Love. 112 had the song Cupid. Who else was out in 97? The supergroup LSG had the song My Body. Erykah Badu she was out. 702, Lauryn Hill had the song The Sweetest Thing from the Love Jones soundtrack. There was a lot of good music in 97, man. But there was another song I used to like, though, called After 12 Before 6 by an artist named Sam Salter. And you know what? Sam Salter was on his way to becoming something big. He was on his way to becoming something big. Being down with L.A. Reid and Babyface at that time. I don't know what happened, man. Somehow he got lost in the mix of that wave, that new wave that was coming. Because he was better than a lot of those artists. Because he could sing, songwrite, produce, engineer, teach you the correct way to sing. He was a vocal coach too. He was just like Babyface. L.A. Reid said Sam Salter was the epitome of soul. He was truly a song's friend. His voice is so rich and his emotion is so pure, and he is the best vocalist that he ever worked with. It's been quite some time since he experienced a vocalist as diverse and charismatic as Sam Salter. He has a style and a talent that has long been missed in the music world because he can sing a ballad with smooth vocals, then leave you with a mellow feeling. That's what L.A. Reid said about Sam Salter. So let's get into the Sam Salter story, right? Let's see what's going on. So now, Sam Salter was born on February 16th, 1975 in Los Angeles, California. Now, he was the second born out of 7 children from his parents, and at a young age, he started off singing in church back in his hometown, South Central. But as he got older, he fell in love with secular music. R&B music became his passion, and he was influenced by artists like Marvin Gaye at the time, Babyface, Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, just to name a few. Now, by high school, he really knew he had the talent to make it big after he finally won the talent show during his senior year. He sung the song H-Town's Knocking the Boots, and he won $30. Because before that, he had lost the talent show like 3 times. And once he won that $30, he knew he can do the music thing. And once he graduated high school, he went to pursue that dream. Now out of high school, right, he kept doing talent shows, and he ended up hooking up with some other guys that sung. And they formed a group together. And they started going around singing anywhere they could perform. But after a while, the group fell apart and everybody went their separate ways. And he just became a solo artist. Now a solo artist, right? He kept singing everywhere in his hometown, meeting different people, trying to make connections, trying to connect with people, building relationships with music producers and so on. And that's when he ended up meeting Grammy Award winning super producer Tricky Stewart. Now, for those who don't know who Tricky Stewart is, that's the producer behind R&B artist The Dream. He's behind the Dream sound. He produced a lot of work for Dream. But look, Tricky Stewart produced songs like Beyonce's Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It, He did Rihanna's Umbrella, Justin Bieber, Baby, One Time, Mary J. Blige, Just Fine. He did Mariah Carey's Touch My Body and Obsessed, Sierra's Ride. He did Maya's Case of the X, No Scrubs by TLC. He did a lot of stuff, y'all. But anyway, right, so he met Tricky Stewart, and at the time, Tricky and them, they was looking for an artist to demo and sing some songs they was creating for placement to give to some famous artists that L.A. Reid had on his label, LaFace Records. So Sam did the demo, and Tricky sent it to L.A. Reid back in Atlanta. And when L.A. heard Sam's singing talent, he wanted Sam to come to Atlanta and sing for him. And the next thing you know, Sam went down there and sung for L.A. Reid, and L.A. Reid signed him right on the spot. I think around that time, LaFace Records, they had Usher there, Tony Braxton, TLC was there, As Yet, Goody Mob was there. Well, Outkast, Tony Rich, Donnell Jones, they was all on the label at the time. So now signed to LaFace Records, right, at 19 years old. He started working on his album with Tricky Stewart. He worked with Tricky Stewart, he worked with Sean Sepp Hall and Laney Stewart for Red Zone Entertainment. Plus Robin Thicke and Tony Rich was doing some songwriting on the album too. But for the most part, Sam wrote most of the album. He wrote like 8 out of 13 songs on the album. And in early 1997, he released his first single called After 12 Before 6, which did hit top 20 R&B charts and landed at number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100. And on September 23rd, 1997, he released his debut album titled It's On Tonight, which hit number 41 on the R&B hip-hop charts and number 15 on the Heat Seekers charts. Now, his second single called There You Are was released, and that hit number 40 on the R&B charts. Now, months later, he appeared on the NFL Jams compilation with the track called Call Me, and it was featuring Tamar Braxton, Scott Galbraith, and Nikki Gilbert. Plus, he did some songwriting for 98 Degrees and Candy Burris solo album. I think her solo album was called Candy. Now, after that, he started working on his second album, right, titled Little Black Book. And he did release the single. He released a single called Once My Ish, Always My Ish, which hit number 1 on the U.S. bubbling under R&B hip-hop songs charts. That song was dope too, man. I like that song. Sam Salter was bringing that new R&B flavor in, man. But look, the album, right, it ended up not coming out because LaFace Records was going through some issues or whatever, so the album got shelved. They say they sent out promotional copies to the media, but then the label canceled the release and the music never made it to retail. I think Arista Records just bought the whole company from LaFace, bought it from L.A. Reid because they was partners with Clive Davis at that time. And L.A. Reid and Babyface ended up they sold the whole company and they went their separate ways. And look, right, that album, The Little Black Book, was going to be a classic too. That probably was going to be the album that would have took him to the top because he had some songs on there that ended up being re-recorded by other artists when it got shelved, right? The song Incomplete by Cisco from Drew Hill, that was Sam Salter's song on his album first. But when Sam's album got shelved, Cisco got it, and it ended up becoming his biggest solo single and his only number 1 hit in the U.S., topping both the Billboard Hot 100 chart and the Billboard Hot R&B Hip Hop Singles and Tracks chart. That song Incomplete, it was written by Montel Jordan and his partner Anthony Shep Crawford. Wow, that was on Sam Salter's album, man. And you can hear Sam Salter's version on YouTube. He recorded it first. And another song that Cisco took too was called Home Wrecker, which was on Cisco's second album called Return of the Dragon. And you can hear Sam Salter's version also on YouTube. Now, Boyz II Men also did a song called Color of Love, which became the lead single to their 2002 album called Full Circle. That was Sam Salter's song too. You can hear the original version he did on YouTube also. And that song was written by Babyface. That's crazy, man. Now, after that, right, he ended up leaving, I guess, Arista, because they had bought LaFace Records. So he left them and he became a music engineer and a vocal coach. And he just kept songwriting for other artists like Jesse Powell, B2K, B5, the Isley Brothers, Tyrese, Jay Holiday, and Deborah Cox. In 2005, he was featured on a single called On a September Morn by a group called Talking Book. In 2006, Sam got into acting, and he made his stage play debut in Palmer Williams Jr.'s play called What a Man Wants, What a Woman Needs, starring Shirley Murdoch. In 2008, he was working on his third album. He started working on his third album called Strictly for the Bedroom, but for some reason that album didn't come out either. That was Shelved. Now, in 2009, he did another play. He got back into the plays, and this play was called There's a Stranger in My House, starring Vivica A. Fox, which was written by Donald Gray. And he just continued just producing and songwriting songs for artists like El DeBarge, Charlie Wilson, and a few others. Now, in 2010, he signed with the label Elemento Entertainment, Inc. And he released a couple songs called, one was called Got Me, and the other one was called To Be Loved, which was a beautiful song. That was a nice song, but those songs failed to make any noise on the charts. In early 2016, he signed with the artist management company called Fight Club Entertainment, which was more like an artist management company, and he did some work with R&B artist K. Michelle. But on August 27th, 2021, Sam Salter died. And you know what? In a lot of reports, nobody really know how he died. There was no cause of death. And his family, they never released the cause of death either. So I think I read one article, a couple articles, somebody said he died in a car accident, but I don't know if that's true or not. But as of now, it just says there's no cause of death, how he died. So hopefully the family got something planned to put some more music out. I bet he got a lot of unreleased music. So we shall see what they're gonna do with his music and stuff, so keep his legacy alive. But he was dope, man. I thought he was dope. He was on the rise and everything, man, during that time, 97. He was part of that new wave that was coming with Donnell Jones and all that, man, and Usher and everything. But sad, man. He was 46 years old. Rest in peace to Sam Salter.